Welcome to Ouachita News. I'm Caroline Derby.
And I'm Haley Short. Today is March 9th, 2022, and we have some news for you. But first, Kaylin, what does the weather look like?
Thanks, Haley. This week we are seeing another change in temperatures as a cold front moves throughout the south. Starting today, we have a high of 60 degrees with a low of 34 degrees. Thursday, the skies are sunny with a high of 67 degrees and a low of 40 degrees. Friday, the high is 59 with a low of 23 and a 78% chance of precipitation. The weekend is looking to be pleasant outside, with Saturday having a high of 49 degrees and Sunday having a high of 66 degrees. Moving into next week, the highs are back up there in the 70s on Monday and Tuesday, with the lows in the lower 40s and sunny skies. That's your Ouachita Weather Watch. Predictions are by AccuWeather. Back to y'all in the studio.
Thanks, Kaylin, for our Ouachita Weather Watch. 4 students attended the Midwest Model United Nations simulation, along with Professor Dr. Kevin Brennan. Here is more about the experience at the conference and the lessons learned from it.
Placards were flying at the Midwestern Model United Nations simulation a few weeks ago. Anna Roussel, a senior mass communications and political science major, tells Ouachita News a little bit more about her experience representing Niger.
We represented Niger, which is an African country, and I did not know that it existed really until we selected the country, but Dr. Brennan came to me with the opportunity to serve on the Security Council. So we were limited to about 15 different nations that we could choose from, and that's the one that we decided on just based on kind of expanding our horizons into a different area of the world in the U.S.
Ouachita had 4 delegates at the Midwest Model United Nations, and each one of them pulled their own weight in their own committees in the United Nations seminar.
Our delegation as a whole received honorable mention delegation, and really what that means is that every single member of our delegation was playing their part and really was showing to the chairs and the legal counsel that they were really putting an effort and knew what they were talking about. Even if you have one weak link in the team, you're probably not going to win an award for your delegation. So everyone really has to be on top of it and know all of the things about their countries.
Delegates created resolutions on a variety of topics, and it was a learning experience above all else.
I've learned a ton, not just about the specific countries that I've gotten to represent over my 2 years, but about diplomacy and how the world's nations kind of work together. And it really just gives you a unique perspective on just the climate that we're in general. And so if that is something that you have the opportunity to do, I would definitely encourage anyone to venture into that.
Delegates got to put their knowledge to action using the Midwest Model United Nations seminar. For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Caroline Derby.
Roussel has competed in Model United Nations before and has brought home Ouachita her own award, Best Delegate in 2021. Congratulations to the ladies and to Dr. Kevin Brennan on a job well done. Ouachita is proud of you.
Mr. Tiger, a fundraiser produced by the women of EEE, took place last night, and a new Mr. Tiger was crowned. Georgia has the new winner in the studio with us. Georgia, we can't wait to hear what he has to say about this Ouachita tradition.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm here with Wyatt House, and he is a biomed major and the new recently crowned Mr. Tiger. Yeah. That's so exciting. Yeah. Okay, so what was Mr. Tiger like? What were the processes that you had to go through that during?
So Mr. Tiger was super fun. We competed with about 15 people, I believe. And we did an activewear competition at the beginning, and some of them were so funny. My buddy Ben wore like a golf uniform, took his clubs out there. I wore all my powerlifting gear, just some funny stuff. And then we did our talent section, so that was awesome. One of my buds, Rodney, got up there and did a rap that he actually wrote, so that was super cool. I sang a song for my girlfriend, and then we had a bunch of group acts that were just super funny. And then the last phase of the competition was the evening wear. So we all dressed up pretty nice and had an on-stage question that we had to answer that we didn't know beforehand. So that was a little nerve-wracking, but it was fun.
That's so awesome. That sounds like really fun. I was there last night, and so I got to see everybody's activewear, and it was pretty good. So also, Why did you want to do the Mr. Tiger competition in the first place?
So I heard about Mr. Tiger through my social club, and a bunch of my friends were doing it. And at first I was a little nervous to sign up, but then they were all doing it and kept nagging at me to do it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I signed up, got my talent ready. I was super nervous when I went out there, but it ended up being a great experience, and I got to do it with my brother, so it was super fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, and then the last question. Obviously, you were crowned Mr. Tiger. So what was your favorite part about that night?
My favorite part about Mr. Tiger was probably just like the backstage experiences. It was hilarious. Like getting ready in all of our costumes, just like seeing what everybody was pulling out to wear. It was just so fun. And then obviously getting on stage and doing my talent was super fun because I play music, but I'm not really in front of a lot of people very often. So it was really nerve-wracking, but it was fun to get out there and do that.
That's awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Wyatt. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, thank you, Georgia, and congratulations to all of the contestants who took part in this fun Ouachita tradition.
Chase Hartzell has our Roar Rundown. Chase, how are our Tigers doing this week?
Hello and welcome to the first Roar Rundown of March 2022. I'm Chase Hartzell. We start out today with the end of basketball season. Both the men's and women's teams hosted SAU for senior night on February 24th, with the men's team defeating the Mule Riders by a score of 82-77, while the women's team fell up by a score of 86-82. Both teams finished the season on a high note by defeating UAM on February 26th. The men's team won by a final score of 68-55, while the women's team claimed an 89-54 victory. Speaking of ending the season on a high note, Aspen Thornton finished her first season with the Tigers in style. The freshman finished with the year with an average of 23.4 points per game, making her the Division II scoring champion for women's basketball. Her performance also caught the eye of conference award voters, and she was named GAC Freshman Player of the Year to go along with a first-team selection to the All-GAC squad. We'd also like to congratulate junior Michaela Miller on being named an All-GAC honorable mention. This is Miller's second selection to an All-GAC team. She earned the honor after a season that saw her lead the Tigers in both rebounds and assists. As the weather starts to warm up here in Arkadelphia, the Ouachita baseball team has broken into a hot streak. The Tigers were winners of their last 4 straight, with their most recent triumph coming in an 11-4 road matchup at Christian Brothers. Over the last 2 weekends, OBU has also claimed 2 series victories in conference play by taking a 2 of 3 at Oklahoma Baptist and by sweeping Harding. In the former of those series, sophomore G. Allen impressed with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs, which helped him earn GAC Player of the Week honors. All told, the Tigers are 12-6 on the year and 8-1 in conference play, putting them in second place in the GAC. They're also just 1 game back in the conference standings. This weekend, though, they'll have a chance to change that as they host number 8 Southern Arkansas, who is a perfect 9-0 in GAC play thus far. The battle between these 2 top teams in the conference is one that you will not want to miss. So if you can't make it out to Rab Rogers Field, be sure to tune in this weekend to OSDN.live. The softball team hosted number 24 Harding for a 3-game set at Sully Anderson Field this past weekend, dropping the first 2 of the series to the Bison. On Saturday, though, the Tigers ended the weekend on a high note with a 7-6 victory over their ranked opponents. It was their first win in GAC play this year. OBU is set to host rival Henderson State for a Battle of the Ravine doubleheader on Wednesday, and you can catch those games on OSDN.live. The Ouachita men's tennis team is in the midst of a nice winning streak at the moment, proving that it deserves to be ranked amongst the best programs D2 has to offer. The Tigers are ranked number 17 as of this recording, with the ITA planning to unveil their new rankings on Thursday. OBU made a case for moving up in the polls last week, defeating number 14 Northwest Missouri State in a 4-3 bout before taking down Drury by a final match score of 5-2. The Tigers have now won 4 straight matches, and they'll look to build on that momentum when they face 2 non-conference opponents in Magnolia this weekend. The women's tennis team has struggled a bit in recent weeks, with their most recent result being a 7-0 loss to Northwest Missouri State. The Tigers will look to better their fortunes this weekend with 2 non-conference matches in Magnolia. The women's track and field team set 2 school records at the Mississippi College Outdoor Season Opener last week. J.C. McGregor finished a 1,500-meter race in just over 4 minutes and 50 seconds, breaking the Ouachita record for the event in the process. She finished first in the event that included 38 participants. Her teammate Becca Beard finished a 5,000-meter race in just over 19 minutes even, which led to a 6th place finish and another school record. 5 men's runners also competed at the event, with freshmen Keegan Pointer and Ethan Cayley recording 7th place finishes in the 1500 meter and 800 meter events respectively. We've covered a lot of ground over the last few minutes, and if you want to learn more about any of the stories we've covered, visit obutigers.com. Per usual this time of year, winter weather could have an effect on athletic events, so stay tuned to the Ouachita Athletics website and social media pages for full schedules and updates. You can also stay in the know by following OSDN's page on multiple social media platforms. Well, that about does it for this week's edition of the Roar Rundown. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Haley, Caroline, back to you.
Thanks, Chase. Make sure to support your Tigers on the home turf this week.
This week at Ouachita, we have the Wolfapalooza Lawn Games from 2 to 5 p.m. tomorrow, March 10th, and you can prepare for the arrival of spring by brushing up on your lawn game skills. So enjoy spike ball, cub, slacklining, and more. And if lawn games aren't your thing, stop by and play with some dogs from the Humane Society of Clark County. Also, this weekend is the 10-Minute Play Festival in Verser Theater. This is an arts engagement event for those of you looking for more ways to get a credit. This event is a Ouachita staple.
That's all we have for you this week. Be sure to check our Instagram page for updates throughout the week.
That is right. Follow us to stay updated on the latest and greatest Ouachita news, and we'll see you next week.